one of the proud promises of the civilized world has always been law, order, peace, and discipline, have long formed the basis on which countries were classified as first world or third world.
People in the West are a little bit tired from the decades of peace, democracy, wealth, and freedom. It is for themselves a little bit boring.
Administrative justice in Ukraine is a sphere in which the resilience of the rule of law is tested on a daily basis.
The Supreme Court of Sri Lanka found the former executive of this country liable for breach of constitutional duties. Rule of law has been advanced in its full plenitude in Sri Lanka.
Even the highest office be subjected to constitutional scrutiny.
We are judges, we are not political actors, and our duty is to protect the rights and the law under the Constitution.
Across Europe and indeed globally, narratives questioning the legitimacy of courts have intensified. The chilling effect of this type of action against the judges is a red line not to be crossed.
In Hungary, judges are not allowed to express political views.
Why is defiance of the rule of law gaining political appeal across the world?
Rest assured that the judiciary holds the final move.
We can uphold the rule of law only to a limited extent by our judgments and opinions, but we do not have means to enforce them.
Politicians must not interfere with the substance of judicial decision, but the organization and financing of the courts is a democratic issue too.
For one, never ever give up.
We simply need an openness to listen.
Thanks to Global South Network, which allow us to believe in a better world of the rule of law.
It's a wonderful initiative.
The Global South Network opened new horizons for judicial cooperations.
Global South Network provide a platform for meaningful dialogue and cooperation, fostering efforts to build a more equitable and resilient legal landscape.
GSN Network continues to expand areas of activity, further strengthening its impact and reach.
The universal concept of justice compels us to join our efforts, and this is the forum for promoting the same goal.
Well deserved for the hectic activity you have made. I am astonished, I am amazed, I was impressed.
May I at the outset commend you, Dr. Reayat, for the immense work that you're doing in the GSN. The Global South Network is a much admired initiative.
It's commendable. South Network focuses on all disciplines and regions, creating a bridge between academia, civil society, legal community, etc.
Now allow me to invite our next discussant, the Right Honourable Richard Wagner, Chief Justice of Canada.
Good day to everyone. I am delighted to participate in this guest lecture series. I wish to thank President Kuusiniemi for his insightful remarks and the Global South Network for convening this important event. As Chief Justice of Canada, I am pleased to share a few reflections on the rule of law and judicial independence. As we all know, the rule of law rests on constitutional text and formal guarantees. It also rests on democratic institutions. Like my colleague from Finland said, independent courts, fair decisions, and public confidence are essential. Courts do not defend the rule of law through rhetoric. They do so by deciding cases carefully, transparently, and within the limits of their role. As mentioned, the most recent statistics from the World Justice Project are worrying. For the 8th year in a row, the rule of law has declined in most countries, and this decline is growing faster. This is not surprising, based on what many of us have seen for ourselves. Around the world, there are attempts to politicize the courts, erode public confidence in our justice systems, and undermine judicial independence. Some leaders openly dismiss international law. One of the International Criminal Court judges mentioned earlier is a Canadian Justice, Kimberly Prost, who is subject to sanctions for simply doing her job. This is a clear sign that the rule of law is backsliding. In many countries, this backsliding has not happened suddenly. Rather, it emerged gradually with small shifts in institutional practice, public expectations, or respect for legal constraints. Because the backsliding can be subtle, it requires vigilance. Finland has done so very well. For the past 10 years, it has consistently ranked among the strongest countries in the world on the Rule of Law Index. It has stable institutions, independent courts, and sustained public trust. But the rule of law is not static. Even in countries with strong traditions, like Finland or Canada, progress cannot be taken for granted. Conditions can change, pressures can emerge, and public confidence can be tested. Independent, competent, and trusted judiciaries are needed to protect the rule of law every day. When courts explain their decisions clearly, apply the law consistently, and remain accessible, they reinforce the legitimacy of the legal system as a whole. If we look closely at the index, we see that other countries have improved their rule of law rankings. President Kuusiniemi mentioned Estonia. Brazil is another example. Countries such as Uzbekistan, Sierra Leone, and Malawi have also improved their rankings. This is very encouraging for all of us. It also reminds us that we can all do better, but only if we learn from each other. Countries with long-established institutions can learn from those undertaking reform. The reverse is also true. We can also learn from the lessons of those who came before us. My colleague mentioned the book, Why Nations Fail. I have also read it. The authors show that societies with a poor rule of law do not grow or change for the better. It gives some historical examples to illustrate this point. One of these examples is the glorious revolution of the 17th century in England. This period marked the end of absolute monarchy and the emergence of pluralist political institutions. Power shifted away from the unchecked authority of the crown and toward parliament, creating a system of shared and restrained governance. As part of this transformation, the judiciary gained increased independence. Courts were better positioned to apply the law impartially, free from royal interference. The result was greater predictability in the enforcement of contracts and property rights. Studies have since shown that this greater judicial independence had significant economic impacts. We would all do well in this climate to remember these lessons. This is where international forums become especially helpful. The Global South Network provides an important space to share experiences and learn good practices from one another. We simply need an openness to listen. The rule of law is stronger when we do so. In that spirit, thank you once again for this opportunity to share my thoughts with you today. Thank you so much. Merci.
Thank you very much, the Right Honourable Richard Wagner, Chief Justice of Canada, for delivering his response.